India got baseballed again, Ayaz, and Shubman Gill starts his journey as captain with a loss. Now, India were ahead for most of that match, but England was just too good on that last day with their batting. So the question is, if India can't do it with Jasprit Bumrah in their side, what chance do they have without him?
Well, it's going to be very grim going on from here. The remaining four matches. I'll tell you why. One is, of course, that you're one match behind already in the series. This was a match where India were very well placed to win, at least on 4 days of the 5 days, and then England turned the things around. You mentioned about baseball. I also just want to add this was the daring do, the daredevilry of baseball as we've seen it over the past couple of years, but supported by a lot of common sense. And I think that really was the undoing of India. Had they persisted in the same baseball way which we saw even when England come to India, they kept losing match after match, trying to play, trying to take the match or take the attack to the bowlers, even when the situation didn't warrant it. So they've done some plotting, they've done some planning, but and this is where the crux is now. They were helped along the way by some really poor catching. You drop half a dozen catches in a match like this. By and large, the pitch was good. Then you're putting yourself under enormous pressure. I also thought that India just lacked support for Jasprit Bumrah. Prasidh Krishna got 5 wickets in the match. Mohammad Siraj 2 in the match, but they came at really heavy cost. And Jadeja just got a single wicket on the last day. More than Bumrah, he was to be India's trump card on the wearing pitch. There were some patches, he couldn't make the most of it. So I think Shubman Gill and coach Gautam Gambhir have a lot of sorting out to do as they move to the next test match and for the rest of the series. Remember, Bumrah, by all accounts, from whatever we've got information, is going to play only 3 test matches. So now if you take away Bumrah from the equation, then India become a really weak team playing in England at this point in time, the bowling attack at least.
Yeah, so let's talk about the positives. So that is basically the batting and especially Rishabh Pant and KL Rahul. Now, it was felt going into the series that the gap left by the departure of Kohli and Rohit would be too huge to fill. But at least in terms of purely runs, they've managed to plug that hole. But the bowling, like you said, was apart from Bumrah, was largely awful, if I may say so. But what do you chalk that up to? Is it inexperience, at least not for Jadeja or Bumrah or Siraj, but the inexperience of the others, and that they'll find their feet as they go deeper into the series, or do you think this is just the level that they're operating at?
Well, this is the confounding part. Is this the level at which they will operate? Then there is problems ahead. Then there is you're going to expect many such kind of setbacks. Because if this is the level, if you don't improve from here, then there's going to be a problem in terms of bowling, also in terms of fielding. I think the batting was pretty good. 471 in the first innings, 3 centuries and 2 more centuries in the second innings. I think India were undone now when you look back in hindsight by 2 staggering collapses. 7 wickets for 41 runs was what India lost in the first innings. We got 471, which seemed a very good score, but they were in a position to get 550, 600 at one point in time. And in the second innings, they lost 6 wickets for 33 runs, I think, or 36 runs. So what could have been a target of maybe instead of 371, 400, 420, and therefore the game is pushed out of England's way, in a sense, in theory, just became that much more gettable for England. And I think you must give credit to England in this situation, because every time it looked like they were being shoved out from the match, they came back through the ball, with the bat, with some smart catching, and I thought some very smart captaincy. And this is where I think Shubman Gill, his learning curve has to go up very fast, because I thought, and this is my perception, I think that there were perhaps too many people talking in his ears. So there is a very strong, experienced group on the field. There's Rishabh Pant, there's KL Rahul, there's Ravindra Jadeja, there's Jasprit Bumrah. Their experience is invaluable. But the captain must learn to make his own assessments and decisions, take the inputs from everybody. And I thought also, and this is something that has been highlighted by Nasir Hussain and by Ravi Shastri in the post-match discussions that they've had, that which is actually true. I mean, the failure of Ravindra Jadeja to get wickets, and especially when the ball was turning so sharply, at least for half of the fifth day, maybe the line was wrong, maybe the length was wrong. So that is something that this is where the captain becomes very crucial. Having consultations with, maybe he's a very senior bowler and you feel that he knows everything, but you still have to you have to make things happen rather than react to how things are unfolding.
Yeah. So as you said, let's also give England their flowers. Now, things were not going their way on the opening day, and India stacked up all those runs, but they managed to hold their own throughout the match and eventually win the match. Now, especially the way they batted in that last innings was full of self-assurance and calmness, and these are not outlier events anymore. If anything, these chases are now clinical performances.
Yeah, I mean, Anirudh, that innings by Ben Duckett must rate as one of the most, impactful in the past few years. Uh, he's not the star player in their team, so to speak. There's Harry Brook, there's Ollie Pope, there's Joe Root, and Ben Stokes, who are more regarded or more widely regarded as the best batters of that lineup. But Ben Duckett in both innings, I thought the way he played Bumrah first was, was gave England that hope that this attack can be tamed. And then there was the way he managed to keep. He took the attack to Ravindra Jadeja, not letting him settle down at all with those reverse sweeps, which he seems to pull out, from everywhere, so to speak. So Ben Duckett played what I thought was a smashing innings. Then they've got Harry Brook, who was in good form, well, a little chancy. Ollie Pope's got 100. Ben Stokes not quite in his best rhythm, but Joe Root coming into form again. So this has become a formidable batting lineup. Jamie Smith is also a very good batsman lower down in the order, which is what India are lacking right now. But I think really the success for England, and I think what has happened in this first Test match, the looming threat of Bumrah. One is they've worked out a formula. See off his 3 overs, 4 overs. They know that he won't bowl a 7-8 over spell. So don't do mad things. Don't have a rush of blood. See him off. Yes, score runs if there's a loose delivery, which they did, but see off his threat and then milk the others. And if there's another threat like Ravindra Jadeja, then you can revise your tactics and attack him. So I thought they played very smart cricket, and that threat from Bumrah, if it is reduced going ahead, because England's confidence level of the batsman will be very high, then it pushes India further back in trying to come back, square the series, and perhaps then try and go on to win it.
Yeah. So, lastly, going ahead, what changes do you see in the Indian lineup? I mean, do they bring in a Nitish Kumar Reddy or do they bring in a Kuldeep Yadav? Because if anyway you're going to collapse, might as well have a better bowler in the side. So, who do they turn to now?
I think Nitish Kumar Reddy could be one. I mean, the reason for playing Shardul Thakur was because he could also bat a bit, but that didn't seem to work out in this match. He got a couple of wickets. It's very harsh to judge any player, experienced or new, on just one outing. But the fact is that it was a collective failure in which some things stood out very, like festering sores. So this thing of having extending your batting till the very end. I think Kuldeep should be in the team. I think that Nitish Kumar Reddy or Arshdeep, forgo a batsman. You can trust now. You should be able to trust your batsman to give you those totals. In the first Test match, the problem was that India couldn't defend a score 371 in the final innings. I mean, there have been chases of 400 plus also, but 371 is not an easy target to reach, and England did it with aplomb. And that is the worrying part. So I think certainly a couple of changes in the bowling are, to me, inevitable.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on all the developments and we'll get back to you before a preview for the next match. So that's it for this episode of Sports Room. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Andrew. We'll catch up soon.